like I say, it's a pity we never really got a resolution on that weird ass board, but um, the owner of it's happily retro computing today. Like I say, it's a pity we never really got a resolution. Yep, was that me?
Oh, that was me. I'm setting up the YouTube live stream, so we got some other people.
Okay.
The echo.
Yeah, no worries. Hey, George Phillips, how you going?
Good. Unmuted now.
Yeah, you guys in lockdown?
Not really lockdown, but restrictions are tighter than they have been.
Probably like me, you work from home anyway, so it's kind of like, what, me worry?
Yeah. Personally, not
At
a big
least you don't
difference.
have. I was going to say you don't have your governor telling your neighbors to spy on you and call the police, though. So, our governor actually announced that she wanted neighbors to turn in neighbors if they had large Thanksgiving parties.
Was that really a thing? I saw some memes about it. I couldn't believe it from the land of the free.
I actually heard the news announcement that she made. So I heard it come out of her mouth.
Matt, the problem is it's the lands of the free, and everybody's doing whatever the hell they want.
I'm just saying, it just seemed fine. People should do what they should do, but that's taking it a little step further.
Well, it sounds like it's the land of the free, but not the land of the level-headed thinking at times.
That's correct.
Yeah, you got that, buddy.
All right, is somebody mocking me with this iPhone 12 Pro Max account?
It's not me.
I don't know. Let them in, Pete, and with your finger on the eject button. But yeah, hey, Steve Hall, how you going?
Yeah, not too bad. We're in tier 2 lockdown here, so the restaurants open on Wednesday, so life beginning to return to normality a little bit.
But more important, what about the pubs?
No pubs. Not unless they serve food. You have to be in tier 1 to get a pint, so not good.
Oh, blimey!
Yeah.
We're going into tier 3, Steve, on Wednesday, I think it is, and we're there till the 16th of December. That'll be good.
Oh, you'll enjoy that, Dusty. It just means that you have to use Just Eat more often, dude.
I'm still busy writing stuff, Dusty. So I dare say this is going to be a little bit of a later release of the magazine, unfortunately.
No problem, Mal. Also, you guys will have decided the competition winner. So we just want to, I shall have to do something about that. And are all the competitions you've had, do they all have links to YouTube, something like that?
They're all over the place, but you'll be pleased to know that today Pete's going to demo some of the entrants on here to show people the caliber of the entry. So that should be pretty interesting, I reckon. This has been one of the best competitions that I've come up with.
That's a great segue.
Coco versus Z80. How many were Coco versus Z80? Because I know you allowed Coco.
Well, it was half and half. There was no MS-DOS, no 21216s, and no Pocket Computer or 100 entries, unfortunately. But 50-50, I reckon.
So that's a great segue. That we'll actually, how about we present the first contender? It's from, and Mav, you can fill in any information I'm missing, but from Allison. And the game is called Xenocide. It's for the Coco. So I am going to share, let me just get it running here. Give me a second.
Yep, this was one of the early entries, and it's written in BASIC.
All right, so let me share my screen here. And let's see, it should be there.
It'll be a slash. It'll be a slash.
I think Coco, it's a dot, right?
No, it's a slash. Oh,
I think it'll take either.
Oh, Coco's
Okay.
intelligent. Xenocide by Allison. Okay. All right, this one takes a little while to build up its internal data. So
but what's interesting is that it's actually quite a playable arcade style game, entirely written in BASIC, which is a difficult thing to do on any 8-bit computer. And it's got graphics and everything. So
and it uses one of the high resolution graphics modes of the Coco as well. I'm not that familiar with them to know which mode it is, but maybe someone else.
when it comes up, I should be able to tell you.
Would you like instructions? Objectives to destroy all 36 of the cities on an enemy world. Each city is equipped with a defensive shield and a Corbomite missile. When the city is destroyed, the city will fire its missile to retaliate. All right, so let's, okay, C and V to switch back between the view screen and the console. Left and right arrow keys and space to drop a bomb. Difficulty, let's go with easy. So we're circling the planet, and then we have to drop these bombs in the city, but it's very difficult because you have to plan the trajectory appropriately. So I'm going to miss that one. Let's see if I can get the next one here. All right, you guys call out fire when I should press the space bar.
Use the force.
Fire.
That's gonna go past everything.
It's gonna
Yeah?
overshoot. Yeah,
Fire.
fire.
This is a pretty cool game. I
Difficult.
like this one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you can't drop multiple bombs. I think you've
No.
you've got a fire.
I want to see at least one city get hit here. Well, this is looking good.
Oh, there you go.
Uh-oh. All right, what am I supposed to do here? I'm not sure.
Shoot the missile.
Ah,
I think it's a Project Nebula type.
but I'm not moving when I press the arrow key, so I'm not sure what's happening.
Probably needs a joystick.
Oh, maybe. All right, well, that's kind of neat. Your ship was destroyed by an enemy missile. Mission
All right, so
failure.
that was a pretty good demo, I thought, and it didn't crash or do anything. So yeah, you want to run a program? Just do a list, or
Yeah, I can bring it back up.
it's still on the screen.
Hold on. How do you break in this? How do you break an X4?
Just press break.
There's no break on my MacBook, bro.
Okay, say no.
Control C.
Escape.
How about play again? No.
They're asking a bunch of Z80 guys how to work the Coco emulator. Come on, Pete.
So this will go on for a little while, but you can see there's quite a bit going into that
Mhm.
thing.
Good effort. Very good effort. And a playable game.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
works really well. Good one, Allison. Hope you do well in the comp.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is bring another demo a little bit later on after the first product announcements.
So I know a few people have reached out with or I've lured you in to give a presentation of some projects they're working on. So who would like to go first? How about Joel?
That works. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
Joel.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, the Model 6000 I picked up a couple weeks ago. I've been trying to rebuild it, get it back into shape. It's had a broken front. Let me grab the front real quick so you guys can see. It is at least back into one piece now.
Is that the one from camera? Is that the one from New Mexico?
Yep. Yeah. So the case was busted into I think 2 pieces, and then when I was mangling with it the other night in the garage, I made it 4 pieces, unfortunately. But it's all back into one piece now. And I'll see if I can get the camera to see. So it's not pretty yet. Still working on it, but I have filled in where there was a giant gaping hole here. The material seems to match the color coat really well. It almost doesn't need painting, but I'm going to repaint it anyways. And so that's the other side. It was missing a piece as well. The camera probably doesn't zoom or focus on it really well.
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
Focus, but
good job.
It's got some cracking still here across. So tonight I hope to spend a lot of detail on it. I filled in where this silver line that runs around the areas, there were breaks. I filled this one in, and I've already worked on it a little bit with a file set that I bought. And so it seems to be filling in pretty well. I should be able to repaint that, and you're like, unless you're like 2 inches off of it, you really probably won't notice it's even been damaged. This side's going to take a little bit more work. It didn't seat correctly when I first set it up, but I don't want to attempt to break it again. So I will try to fill what I can. And then I've picked up a trick from some car body specialist videos where they use you put some like Armor All type stuff on here, and then you can put some silicone down, some RTV silicone, and you can capture the pattern. And then when that hardens and is done, with a heat gun, once you go back over this before you paint it, you can take and run that pattern through your epoxy and try to recreate, hopefully cover up a lot. I did restructure the CRT mounts using this PC7 stuff. It's like concrete. I don't know how well you can see it, but man, it's hard as a rock once it's done. So those CRT posts should be good to hold the monitor again.
I've done that with JB Weld on the CRT posts. Do you reckon that's even stronger than JB Weld?
Yeah, I think. Let me show you what I'm using. Yes, actually. I think so. I think it is. It hardens pretty hard. But I've also been using the JB Weld stuff. That's what I'm using. That's filling in the other stuff as well, and it hardens pretty well too. Okay. But just for structure support of the CRT, so it doesn't fall. So that's the front. And I'm working on a video of I'm pretty much going through the entire machine piece by piece until I know it's working. I've gotten the hard drive and everything aligned from what I think. I'll probably have to go back over that since I found the video that explains a little bit more in detail. But from what I watched on the video, I got it pretty well. So the system runs, it boots from the DREM, but I put together, I'm working on a video. It's about, so far, 10 minutes in length with, the time lapse, but I did cut it down to a little 2-minute preview, and I'm hoping Zoom will let me share it and you guys can actually hear it, because for some reason I can't get OBS to send the sound of the video through the camera that it's making, the virtual camera. So I looked it up real quick, and they said that you can share computer sound and optimize for a video clip. And then if I put this full screen, hopefully you guys can see just a black screen, and then hopefully you're hearing audio. It's just really just light music to go in the background. But
yep, we have audio.
Awesome. So yeah, this is it when I got it out on the table. It doesn't have the back. The back is completely in pieces. I've got the piece with the actual label that goes on it, so I'll try to recover the label off of it and maybe put it on the new back. And essentially what I'm doing is I've taken a Model 12 that I picked up that I can't get the motherboard to work yet. And so I'm, I guess, cannibalizing parts from it to make this work so I can at least get the 6000 up and going. And so I've actually removed the back fan, which it'll probably show here in a little bit, to actually fit the top of the case over it. So it will actually have a top on it and the airflow is restored. You can, I don't have to worry about cooking the cards inside of it and whatnot. But yeah, this is essentially me breaking it down in a time lapse, doing the repair on the PSU, getting those older refa capacitors pulled off of it, and then just making sure everything's tight. Obviously getting the face off for its it getting rebuilt and whatnot. There's me taking photos of the different things disconnecting. I also
this is great, but I'm just wondering if Val's getting triggered watching this. Like a radio
she's not here to
So I had the fan there I'm replacing with a more modern 120 volt fan. It seems a whole lot quieter now. The system is actually pretty whisper quiet. I still got to cut the back plate that goes on above the cards. I've got to cut a hole in it and move the fan that was in the back of the 6000 to that location. Other than that, the system's running now, and it's just me trying to get the rest of this video put together and then getting the face going, the plastics, and just getting it back to as original as possible if I can. I actually went and picked up, I don't know if y'all can see my camera still or not, if it's just showing the video, but I went and picked up some Valspar signature interior paint. I had them match as close as I could to the front of the 6000. And then I also got the keyboard done, and so it's ready to go as well. And so all the stuff, that's the Model 12 right there that I'm taking the case from. And so I had to supplant that back panel where the fan is and whatnot. So that's showing that. But yeah, so that's just a quick preview of
nice
what I got going. The whole thing is probably about up to 9 minutes right now, and I've still got more video to add. So yeah, still more to come with it. But yeah, that's the main project that I'm working on among the various.
That looks really clean. Did it come that clean, or did you clean it up before the video?
It's pretty clean looking. If you go look at the cover page for the 21216 6000 group on Facebook, the cover photo is the machine itself before it was shipped, I believe. So it is super clean inside. No major dirt or anything like that, just dust. Probably mostly from me driving it back from Arizona.
Joel, I want to say I really appreciate the way you're documenting this, both video-wise, and I know you have a blog, and I know you're blogging about at least the 6000 repair, amongst other things. It's really
I hope to fill it up.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I know it's a lot of work, trust me.
But it's fun.
It is.
It really is.
And rescuing those 6000 bezels and cases is so critical because so many of them have been lost due to poor shipping over the years, unfortunately.
Is that what happened to this one?
Yep, unfortunately.
I don't know who designed those systems, but by watching that video, one thing you notice is that there's no single part in the Model 1216 that comes out easily. Everything's held on with a dozen or more very inaccessible fasteners, and
they did not consult service. No,
this is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think that after the 2 and 16, they would have come back and said, "Hey, like getting to the video board and the power supply is a little pain. Let's make everything a little easier on the next model." But nope, still got to take the thing halfway apart.
Well, what's funny is this weekend I've been working on an IBM PS2 Model 70, which, if you know those things, is not very much older than the Model 6000, and it has no fasteners holding anything. Everything is slide and tab fit for easy service in the field. I think once you get the drives out, the planar board out, there's basically 2 screws holding the power supply, and then the computer's completely disassembled. So it's the polar opposite of the Tandys of the same era.
But Mav, we know where that went to. We got to a position where you'd stick your hand inside a PC case and come out with only 3 fingers because of all the metal shards that you just cut. I've never ever hurt myself on a Tandy machine. Never ever. It's just nicely done. The build quality's there. Pain in the ass, yeah, but the build quality.
It's almost a shame that so many screws and fasteners hold the Model 6000 together that the case is so damn brittle.
Well, one thing I noticed about your video, which I never thought about before, but giving easier access to the 68,000 CPU board is taking off the top panel on the card cage.
Yeah, it was off when I first got it, and I found some 4 screws and put it back on. But I thought about actually cutting maybe a hole or something and putting a smaller fan up there on top. I don't know if it was worth it or not, but yeah, I guess you could do that. I don't know. I thought about it. I thought about leaving it off, but then I thought if I'm pushing air in and it's got to hit the back plane, part of it goes down, part of it goes up. If it goes up and goes and just leaves, I don't think it ever makes it fully over the top of the Motorola card at the very top, right?
I'm thinking
some
more
of those, some of those
troubleshooting.
I've seen have a small auxiliary fan mounted sideways next to the card cage. Have you
Right.
seen one of those, Joel?
That was an upgrade kit.
I found the
Yeah.
fan holes for that. I was like, these holes here, there's something mounts here, but I couldn't. It almost lined up with the fan that I had, but yeah.
Yeah, there's an additional fan next to the card cage. It would make for a very noisy system because then you got 3 AC fans running. But that was to get, I think it was to get more air, wasn't it, Ken, into the flowing through the cage.
Right. Yeah, it came out. It was a sheet metal kit. It came out at the same time that the fan on the back panel came out. So it was a combination to try and keep everything cool.
Must have had some fun times there at the shack with them running hot and just, right, let's have a brainstorming session. How are we going to cool this bastard down?
Well, that's what we did. We did the first one in tech support. We took a fan off of we ordered a fan from a hard drive and just cut a hole and bolted it on the back of one of the access panels. And that's the way we ran some of our machines and solved the problem. And then, we sort of started talking it around.
Talking about the cases, one of the things we always ponder is, are the original molds possibly still available somewhere in a warehouse somewhere in a back room in storage? It would be, a significant find if they were. I know plastic molds, of that size, injection molds would be pretty large, but they probably would have been recycled for the scrap metal.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure now there must be some sort of 3D scanner that we can take a decent front panel and a decent top and scan and turn into like SLT files or something and get the damn things 3D printed. It can't be that hard anymore.
You're going to spend $30,000 on a suitably large 3D printer.
No. There'll be companies that do it for us, wouldn't you? Be able to send them away and get a few 3D printed.
That's something to think about. I hadn't thought of
Probably
that,
is somebody that would do it.
At least the front panel. Yeah.
How about a big milling machine to just mill a new case out of aluminum or something?
FCC would pat you on the back.
like it's not heavy enough as it is.
The problem is the piece is still too big for a mill. The mills, mine is a 12-inch saddle, and I think that part's bigger than 12 inches, and that's a pretty big saddle.
So we could start shipping and saying, break this, guys.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next contestant in the game competition. I'm gonna bring it up here. Just give me a sec. This is going to be George Phillips' entry, and George is online, so he can comment.
Hi, George.
Is this all your work, George, or did you get help from Peter?
No, I did this all myself.
Okay.
I only criticize.
All right, so I had some challenges with this game, and I think they were more on my end than anything else. So the game is called Defuse, and you have to defuse bombs. And this is running on a Model 1, so it's a Z80 game. So you use the arrow keys to move your crosshairs. You press the space bar when you see a bomb to reveal the defuse code, and you enter the code correctly, or boom. And it looks like there's an option for you can adjust the time limit. Let's select 80, and you can adjust the number of hints you get, I guess. Let's go with a lot of hints. And then you can have a time bombs. Not sure what that is. George?
There's a timer that counts down, and if it's a time bomb, you actually the bomb blows up and the count goes down. If it isn't, then the bomb doesn't explode. You just don't get any points.
Go with time bombs. There we go. So I'm going to put. I have to type in 847. All right. On to the next one. I like that crosshair effect. 841. Was a little tricky. George, what are those numbers that we see in that interstitial screen there?
Total score.
That's your score.
Ah. All right. See what happens when I enter the wrong code. Boom.
Boom.
Will this run on a Model 3 also?
No.
One only. Is there a particular reason for that, George?
It's the way the graphics are done. I could probably get it. I could make it work on a Model 3, but as it stands, it won't because it has different timing.
So what would it do on the Model 3? Just those crosshairs wouldn't come up properly, or?
Yeah, they'd just be all scattered all over the place.
Okay. It wouldn't fry the video board or anything, would it?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Is it using VBlank?
Nope.
No, it's just timing.
It's just timing. It's just the static you normally get on when you access video memory on a Model 1. That's what's drawing your crosshairs.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Yeah, that is really cool programming, George.
That's yeah. So you're manipulating the blank lines that people try to avoid when they're writing their program.
That's right.
That's pretty neat. Yeah.
Will it do that under a different emulator or just the one you wrote, wink, wink?
It'll do it under an accurate emulator.
Or a
any
real
emulator
or a Model 1.
Yeah, or a real Model 1 if you got one.
I think you crashed, George.
If you tried to do those as graphic lines, they would be bigger, but could you keep up with the speed?
You got a bug here, George. No, maybe not. I just been confused. Okay. That's a shocker.
I think there is a bug because I think the number of hints you should have gotten that many squares on screen. So I think I need to go fix that.
Yep. That was cool. I like how you got to use the number keys to activate the bomb, so that if you've got a busted Model 1 that only the arrow keys work, you can still play Frogger or Zaxxon, but this one, you need the number keys to work as well.
All right, we got some good competition. I'm really surprised, and pleasantly surprised to see the number of submissions for the game competition this year, because I believe a year or two ago there were actually no submissions.
Yeah, it was too avant-garde, the idea.
What was the total count that you got?
I think we're up to 7, which is pretty good. I was, yeah.
And that's not even including mine, because I didn't submit one since I'm a judge.
Yeah, yeah. I got to try and think of something even better next year. So I don't know. I'm all ears if anyone's got a brilliant idea for a competition, because I've been running these for how long, Dusty? 5 years, 6 years now.
More than that, yeah, more than that, Matt. More than that, yeah, yeah. And
at least that, yeah.
There's still 2 days to go as well. Don't forget. So
yeah, if you can write tight, efficient code in 2 days. Yeah.
All right, so how about the next project? Who else has a project that they want to share with the community?
I can go.
Okay.
So this is I'm Lawrence. I've been working with Quentin to develop this program that lets clean up WAV files. So the idea is you take a cassette and you record it as a WAV file, and sometimes they don't get recognized when you put them into an emulator. So this program is supposed to clean that up and do an extra hard job at like picking out all the bits and making sure that everything gets decoded in a CAS file. So I can do a screen share and sort of run through it pretty quickly. How's that sound?
Yes, please.
Okay, let's see. Does that show up? I can't tell. Am I screen sharing? Okay, so you see this, do you see my cursor?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is a web utility. So right here, if you just go to this URL right now, you can just use this. And it's still a work in progress. But the idea is you drop a WAV file into here, and then it tries to do some work to figure it out. So as a test, I put a few here that are just for testing. The C11 button. This is like an old program that I wrote. It's one of the first ones that I analyzed. So here you've got sort of the table of contents pane on the left, and on the bottom here you've got the actual WAV file as it was loaded in. So you can zoom in and analyze it, and you can see. So if one of these pulses gets distorted or damaged, you can see what's going on. So that's the pane down here, and then on top you can get more information about the program. So for example, in this case, you can see this is a low-speed program. You've got here like every bit has a clock pulse, and then optionally followed by a pulse for a 1 or a missing pulse for a 0. So the program here will tell you a bunch of information, like this is like the sync bit, where it found the sync bit. So you can zoom in and figure things out. And then over here, it'll show you what the program as it actually was picked out. So here you can click. So this particular tape has two copies of the same program. And here you can get like where the thing started, where it finished. You can download the bin file or the CAS file if you want it. This is the binary of the program. So you can see this is D3, D3, D3 tells it's a basic program. And then you can do things like it's kind of nice if you just want to analyze the data. Like for example, if there's a problem with these 5 bytes over here, you select them. And then down here in the audio, or vice versa, like if you're panning around and you see a problem here in the audio, you can say you can select that, and then it'll select up here in the binary. So it's a good way to sort of go back and forth and figure out what might be happening. Once it decodes everything, then it re-encodes it here synthetically. So this is a good audio for you to import into another emulator, because this will read really well. So you might have some pulses here that are kind of badly damaged that my program can still figure out, and it'll clean them up and do that. In this case, it detects it as a basic program, so it'll
cool.
detokenize it.
Nice.
So this is this is also still synced up. So you can sort of select these, and it'll show you down here. In fact, it'll show you here the tokens over here. So this is 40, Y, and vice versa. You can go back and forth between the two.
If the audio stream's damaged and it translates it to like 99%, could you fix the 1% and then it will recreate the audio?
It doesn't right now. No, so I don't have any way to sort of fix that, and I can show you one bit later that's wrong. And I don't have a good way to sort of fix those. That would be great. I add features to this thing as I need them, so that I'll need to add that as I find it. So then you've got here an emulator. So this is the original audio. So if you do this, you can do C load, and that'll read the original audio. This is a flight simulator that I wrote when I was 12 or something. It's not very good. You can sort of do stuff. It's easy to crash it, but it kind of loads. And here you've got another emulator on the reconstructed audio. So one might work, one might not. In fact, here's because like as I said earlier, there are 2 recordings on this tape. The second one here is dim because the binary is identical. So, but it turns out that if you run the emulator on the original audio, at least with my emulator, it gets damaged here at the end. Like once it gets close, you can see like there's a read error. It's right after line 7,000, it gets damaged. So what you can do is you can go to the basic program, go down to line 7,000, and highlight a couple bytes around it, and you can see like this is the line number 7,000. Then the clear screen is here. And you can see what happened here. You've got these very faint bits that my emulator wasn't able to read, but my decoder was able to read. And then so if you actually go back here to the reconstructed version, it'll read just fine. So it's kind of fun, and you can sort of compare what the original audio would read compared to what you're doing here. Yeah, so this is
incredible.
Yeah. So strangely, like I found this so I wrote all this like last Christmas. And like 2 days after Christmas, I realized that this tape that I've been doing all these tests on has a secret program at line 7000, which is a Christmas tree. Like, so I think this will be a fun like Christmas card to send people. Maybe I'll find a URL where I can just dump them straight into this emulator at line 7000. It'll be my Christmas card that I wrote 40 years ago. So that's that. Oh, up here you've got a bunch of stuff. You can reboot the machine if you want to. You know, load again that you're end of the tape, so you have to like rewind the tape and rewrite it again. One thing you can do is you can, because if you've got a bunch of these things, it can be hard to remember which tape is what. So once you've got something up and running, you can take a screenshot. And then when you go back to that, it'll show you the screenshot, or if you look at the whole tape, you've got a bunch of different screenshots of the different ones. So that's pretty nice for organizing everything. Where was I? Oh, and you can also run this as a Model 1 if you'd rather do that. Like if there's a program that has to be a model. It's not as good as George's, so it will not run George's latest thing. What else can you do? You can set, you know, like different phosphors or whatever. So that's just the emulator part of it if you want to do that. Just real quick, what else can you do? It can load system files. Now I don't have a WAV file of a system file, but this is Scarfman. So if you load in a CAS file, it'll generate the audio. So this is like the audio generated, and then it'll read it, and that's sort of a way to get at it. So for a system program, it'll show you all the different chunks. System programs are written in these chunks where like there's 256 bytes written at 6000, and these are the first 3 bytes of it. And then here it shows you the entry point is 6000, and then there's a disassembler built in. Wow. And it's a pretty clever disassembler where it'll start at the main point and it'll just follow the code, and then so that it knows sort of what's code and what's data. And if you get down here, you can see like there's some parts that are just data or text. So it'll be kind of clever. And again, this is all synchronized, so you can select this and it'll go back to the audio. In fact, if you zoom into the audio, it'll show you the disassembled code up here too. This is not a good example of it, but be over here somewhere.
Wow.
Like over here, you can see the disassembly here if you want to try to match it back to the other one. And then you can go to the thing right here. And so on. And there's a fun thing here, just as a last little demo. So this is weird, which I think just came on, I think Ira, you just posted this a few weeks ago, right? And so as a system program, what's interesting about this is that it does all sorts of clever things. Like these are all the different chunks on the tape, and chunks can write anywhere in memory. And traditionally they would just write only to like where they were going to jump to, but people figured out, oh wait, you can write straight to screen memory or anywhere else. So here it shows you all the different chunks, and here like the first chunk is a single byte 0A, and this is a port EC mask. So this is the one that controls all sorts like the cassette motor and the screen stuff. So why they write 0A here, because that should be the existing value anyway. Then the next 4 chunks write to memory, to screen memory, and then they start writing the program code. And every 174 bytes, they write 4 bytes back to screen memory, and then 174 more bytes to regular memory, back and forth. And the effect is to have these loading screens. Loading. I remember this when I was a kid, and like my mind was blown. I was like, how are you running this code while loading the cassette? And it wasn't until recently that I figured out, no, it's just a side effect of loading. And so it's part of this analysis. All the stuff that's written to the screen, I put together as a screenshot so you could see the loading screen here. And then these 4 bytes that are being written every once in a while are the progress. This is the number they're updating here for the time remaining to load. And
We've
the
had
interesting
Arthur
thing too is like,
on here before. Actually, we could have asked him how he came up with that idea.
Yeah, it's great for sure. One of the interesting things too, like in a system call, normally after it finishes loading, it goes back to this prompt, and then you have to type / to run it, right? So it's like I have to rewind the cassette. But here that doesn't happen; it just runs the program directly. So if you look at this thing at the end of all these program codes, it writes 2 final bytes to this address 401E. Well, that's the video driver pointer. This is the location where you're supposed to write whenever you do like a print or whatever. It goes through there, and that's what writes it to the screen. And so what they write there is 4B81, which is the entry point. So when the system command goes to write their * for the prompt, it just jumps and runs the program. And that way you don't have to get like type a / or MARA, the loading screen is just some sort directly. And in this case, like the entry point is sort of midway through all the binaries. So the first part's all text and you can see all the instructions and everything. So the idea is to just have this program, like a web-based program where you can just analyze WAV files, clean them up, save them as CAS files, and sort of make a little library of your old programs, and sort of have a fun way of analyzing all the programs and how they worked. And so and I've been working with Quentin. Oh, here's what else can I show you? This is fun actually. This is so Quentin said that he got a bunch of tapes from Cornsoft, right? So this was one of the tapes, and we had a hard time reading this one because you could see the audio is all weird and it goes up like this. And if you log in, they're like these weird bumps, right? They're supposed to be like these nice clean pulses, and they're these weird bumps. This took a long time to get my program to read properly, but it does. And when you load it, well, I can just show you the basic program more easily here. The first thing it does is it loads this machine language into memory and then does a user call into it. So if you load it and run it, it just hangs and then crashes the machine. So I reverse engineered the machine language, and it turns out that it's like a Model 1 thing. So this is the dumbest thing. So this is like a work in progress, right? So this is a long time ago. And see how the text is writing slowly? That's what all the machine language was. This is kind of cool. Oh, here's the bit. Here's like this, because clearly this one pixel right here is probably a bad bit somewhere in my reading. This is sort of a game in progress, like it's not even finished. And then here you have the crawler text at the beginning. Was this ever published, or is this sort of a work in progress that never made it anywhere? Anybody know?
I don't recall seeing a Cornsoft release like this.
Yeah, exactly. So it goes on. This takes, hold on, maybe start it. And then it goes to this thing. And then I can't figure out what to do here. Like, it doesn't seem to do much. This is really like not an unfinished project. Like, you can look at basic at the end here, it just sort of has line 9999 and then it goes nowhere. It's supposed to show you some help. So what this is doing, this took a while to figure out. So this machine language here intercepts the video driver, the same video driver before that prints anything, and inserts a pause, like a little delay in between, so that when they can just do a regular print right here, and that just comes out slowly, one character at a time instead of all at once. And it seemed like kind of a tedious and error-prone way of just like printing out a string slowly. But that's why it only works on the Model 1, because at the end here they jump to the existing video driver, but it's the address for the Model 1 version of it, not the Model 3 version of it. And then this version down here is like a slightly different version, but you can tell it's been a little different. They added these two returns. Ira, I think you had noticed that these returns were only in one version and not the other. But I don't think that's a problem with reading the tape. I think that's actually just the way it was written. He probably just made a few changes between the two. If you load this one, it just turns out a little different. And then here's another basic program that does something else. This looks like a test program almost. Oh, well, here we got a bug.
Lawrence, does this output cleaned up WAV files?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Over here, if you go to the
program 10 years ago, Ira.
Yeah, there's a you can save the WAV file right here by this button. You can also save a subset of it. Like if you just want to zoom in, if there's a problem, you can just go over here and like select a subset of it and then just set that if you just want to mess with something. Yeah, this is some other weird thing. I don't know what this is. I don't know. Maybe this was supposed to be like the beginning of the trench run. I don't know what it is.
That's from their development disk. It was them playing with 3D graphics. They have a 3D graphics development disk.
Okay.
I thought it was a speaker side on.
Yeah, it looks like it too. Yeah. Anyway, so it's a work in progress, and I'm still adding as every time. If you have WAV files that don't work, let me know, and I can modify my algorithm to see if I can read the broken bits or whatever, and we can try to get some of these old tapes read again.
What a fantastic tool for the archivist.
Thank you.
That's incredible.
It just runs right in the web browser.
Yeah, it runs. Yeah, I'll post it here in the chat. Although it's like, as I said, it's kind of a work in progress. So it's not, it's day to day whether it works or not, or whether it'll work on your particular tape. But feel free to mess with it. and then the code's on GitHub.
That's
you
where
can
the
run it
TypeScript.
from the command line.
Say it again.
You can run it from the command line.
That's right. There's a version. I've not tried that in a while, but there's a version on the command line. We just pass it a WAV file, and it'll dump out a bunch of, I think, bin files. Although I should modify it to output CAS files.
That's written in TypeScript, Lawrence?
Yeah, that's right. So that last Christmas I wanted to learn TypeScript, so this was sort of my first project, including the emulator and the TRS-80 simulator.
On a side note, just to remind people to check the felt pads on the tapes. I was after a cassette recorder. Someone was after one, and I wanted to test it to make sure that it was working well. And I was grabbing old Radio Shack, new unopened software, and even those the felt pad had fallen off the cassette. I spent a few hours trying to work out what was going on, then realized all I needed is a drop of glue to put the felt pad back on. It worked perfectly. So I'm sure you found the same thing, Lawrence, that you read a tape and it looks terrible, and then sort of, oh, hey, wait a minute.
Is this the felt pad immediately behind the tape?
Yeah,
the pad behind the tape. Back in the day, it was rare that you'd see that the felt pad would be missing, but for some reason they've all hit an age where that pad, you just press play once and it knocks the pad out, and you've got to re-glue it, and then you actually get a pretty good read out of them. So it might save a lot of time. It's not to say you couldn't get a decent read into your program with the pad missing and then clean it up, but you'd get a better read with the pad in place. Who else here does a bit with tapes? I know David Cooper and Ira does. Yeah. Do you still do much with them, David?
Yeah. I go through tapes all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you find the felt pad? Is it?
Oh yeah, no, I glue those on all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not the owner.
They're falling off constantly.
Yep.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Lawrence, sorry, Pete, just to interrupt. Is there worth an option, given the ability to archive, to actually save the things that people upload so that they're permanently? So that we could load it like Pete does with the Model 216 stuff that it goes into his GitHub repository. So could we do the same thing with tape uploads?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm asking myself, what's the next step for this thing? I don't really know what to do. I think one of the next things would be to sort of make a backend database where every time you do one of these things, it stores all your CAS files, it organizes it, and it has screenshots and notes and everything, and then makes that shareable. So you could share some of these things publicly, and if you like somebody else's tapes, download those other tapes, or make it sort of a public archive or semi-public archive of everything that you decode. That would be sort of the next step for me on this thing. Definitely.
And then move towards disks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and make it sort of like because there's already a bunch of places online where people store large amounts of TRS-80 tapes, and some of them, or cassettes or diskettes or whatever, and some of them have an emulator attached, so you could play it right away. It's kind of fun to do that, and but I don't know what's missing really from a community perspective.
We could really use this tool for the Model 2, you know.
For the Model 2?
Yeah.
Why is that?
8-inch disc.
Oh,
recovery efforts.
Yeah, I don't know anything about discs.
Okay.
Same problem. Like you have a.
Just discs with a bad sector here or there that needs to be reconstructed. So
okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. And with the built-in decompilation features, it's nice that you wrapped it all into one tool. You can run the emulator. You can do the decompilation, all of your analysis, and your complete workflow can happen in one place. So really sweet. Great job.
He could use the grease weasel or something as a flux reader, and then wrap his engine around it, so that he, that way he can try to do his own bit level recovery. Maybe his filters will be better.
Sure.
Yeah, they do a similar thing in the Apple world, don't they, to Reese was formatted and all that sort of stuff. It's an interesting method.
Okay, so before we get to the next competition entrant, I just want to have a short plug here. We do have a new episode of the podcast coming out. maybe will be released tomorrow. And
Starring Patrick from TTR. Patrick Bureau, yeah. Hey, mate.
Patrick did a whole segment on painting your TRS-80, so I think everybody would love to give that a listen. By the way, Patrick, where's your beer fridge? Okay, right.
The red item down at the bottom down here, right here.
Fully stocked?
Always.
You're muted.
Okay, what's the next game we're going to play here? Okay, Hugh, Trek 14. Okay, I'm going to load this up. Mav, you want to introduce it?
I don't know much about it. I haven't run it. Sorry.
I think this is a Model 1 game. Let's see here. This was one of the classic Star Trek implementations, I believe. Let me share my screen.
Oh, yes, I have played this one.
All right. Inspired by Lance Miklas's Trek 3.5. The mission is to boldly explore the galaxy, destroy the 50 Klingons, locate 5 Class M planets, and return to Starfleet headquarters. Generating the galaxy. That's going to take a while on the TRS-80.
Weird seeing TRS-80 games with URLs in the intro screen.
If at first you want to make an apple pie, you've got to invent the universe.
So this may take 10 seconds. It may take 2 hours.
Is this written in Z80 assembly or is it in BASIC?
I'm not sure. I think it's a CMD file, so it's probably assembly. And he has a great manual to go along with it, by the way. Let me while this is loading, let me share that. Very well documented. This is the manual. Trek 14, Star Trek for the TRS-80. Right, sort of the classic Star Trek game. You got the long range, short range sensors, the warp, the phasers, the torpedoes, the quadrants. Move it up and down with the arrow keys. I like this here. He's got little tips, and he calls them Kirk's tip. Keep a sharp lookout for the rare Earth-like M planets. Orbit these so Mr. Spock can scan them. So, great job on the documentation. The typical long-range scanner that we see in these Star Trek games. Yeah. Warp drive.
In the game that this was based off of, and I just quit playing it because I couldn't figure it out. So here's all your documentation.
It's got the ship's computer. Let's see if it's loaded yet. It's still generating the galaxy. Okay. I didn't realize it took so long.
Go into turbo mode.
Ah, good idea. All right, it's in turbo mode. Mav, do you remember, did we have a video for this one?
I'm not sure what it's doing. Press random keys.
Who is this one from, Pete?
This one is from Hugh. Well, I think we're going to have to.
We're going to have to admit that this
is
one's
like
a little tougher to get.
This is like the old days. What do you mean? This is
like-
Come on.
Well, this is probably what it was like working at 80 micro back in the day. You'd get 100 tapes arrive a week, and some of them just didn't work as well as hoped.
Yeah, I don't know. I know I played it before the other day. Tested it.
Yeah, I played it when it got in, but I've had it for a little while, and I just sort
All right,
of
well,
put it in the back of my mind.
we'll have to keep this one
Yeah.
in contention. But so sorry, Hugh, we couldn't just demo it.
Yeah. Have you got a Coco one there?
Jim Gary. Jim Gary's
He's prolific. Yeah.
Not MC10. Isn't that what he's famous for?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to share the screen here. He has a game called Decoy. And I'm going to run it. I think this is his emulator, JavaScript emulator. It's going to be easy for me to run it here. Okay, Decoy. Use the WASD keys to move the shuttle and the spacebar to fire. You are to fly over a part of the planet Zelta, while our fighters are to attack on the other side of the planet. You are the decoy for their ships and ground fire. Don't leave the atmosphere. Good luck.
Geez, that's all right. It's
Go. Okay, Defender clone. Written in Color Basic.
Yeah, and I think doing this MC10 is harder than a Coco by quite a bit too. I don't know much about these.
They're not much to type on. Hey, you got one.
I did.
Yeah.
Well, you people are familiar with the Coco community know that Jim Gary writes a lot of games for the MC10. I think every Coco Crew podcast, he has a new game that they mention. We picked one in particular, this one, Decoy. And so this is at the final high score of 241. Need to begin again. This is going to be his entry to the competition, I think.
Yeah, and quite playable too.
Mm-hmm. Now, he actually does have another game. I just want to... You can see all the games here that he's written.
Wow.
He's got some free time on his hands. I love his adventure game. It's basically a clone of the Atari Adventure. Maybe about it.
Atari Adventure.
Atari 2600 Adventure.
It's the one from Ready Player One, isn't it?
I wonder if it's got the hidden room.
I played it a while and the map is identical. So I didn't check for the hidden room though.
You found out the hidden spot yet?
The keys it's a bit difficult to maintain this in the key, run this in the keys. It's got the dungeon working. And you can see, if you're familiar with the game, you know this path to get to the White Castle here. Oh, got eaten by the dragon, so that's cool. So he does some good work. But that I guess we have to pick one game to be the entrance. So Mav, I would say let's pick Decoy.
I thought Decoy actually did a really good job, written in BASIC, and the animation was as smooth as could be expected.
Yep. All right, that's Jim's entry. Did we have any other projects or items that people wanted to share?
I guess I can show one I've been currently doing. As some of y'all know, I've been working on some new memory cards and other cards for the Model 2 stuff. Decided to redo the memory card, doing an 8 meg memory card that replaces all the needs for any other cards in a 68K version of the M16. Anyway, this is it's a mess right now because I've got tons of logic analyzer adapters. But this new board here, you can see up underneath here, it's revised down to one memory chip and a handful of other chips, such that it's able to plug directly into the single header, the 50-pin header, with one jump wire only for power, and will fit in with the MMU. So effectively, we'll have an 8M or a 68K card with 8 megs of memory and an MMU all on a single card. So that'll be a nice compact solution for the future.
So was that a 68K CPU card you had there that you modified?
Yeah, this is a long version. And I've got a short version. I've actually got two. I've got a loaner card from Ken for the 8 megahertz, and then I've got a 6 megahertz one that I picked up when I got that 6,000 last month. So I'll be able to, there's subtle timing differences between all the boards, and got most of that worked out. Yes, somebody's laughing. They know what I'm talking about.
No timing differences.
So anyway, I've got all that worked out, and hopefully within a week or two, I should have boards done. Like I said, I've got them laid out. I'm tweaking a few things, but the nice thing is that this is a very small card. It's about 1 inch by an inch past the, no, it's a ½ inch past the header width. So it's really small, it's compact, but it does take a little skill to solder. It's got a lot of DFN type components on it as well. That's the beauty of making it smaller, is that the layout becomes a lot easier to do. So anyway, I had to, as you probably saw on here, and these are the middle size parts, there's a lot of little adapter boards and stuff that I did. So like this is the single memory chip, but it's broken out into something dipwise. So that's kind of what's going on there.
Thanks for the view. I've been wondering.
What?
I've been wondering what it looked like. So what you were doing.
Well, I have the bigger versions. I've got 2 or 3 others that I'd worked on. This was version 2. I don't think anybody saw that one. But this was with a multi 4-chip solution that would give you 4 meg. No, that was 8. I'm sorry. It was 4 or 8. And anyway, I wanted to get it down into something really compact that would be get rid of all the needs for other memory cards. So.
Well, is this something you'd be willing to assemble and sell?
Yep. I'm planning on it. My thought is probably going to be somewhere around 100 to 150 assembled, ready to go.
Let me down.
Or supply the boards. There's a PAL or 2 on here, and then so that's where it sits.
Okay.
That's sorry, P. I was going to say, as I said in your survey, take my money, hurry up.
Yeah.
Are you going to offer the service where we can send you our CPU board and you'll do everything?
Well, the only thing you have to, well, like I said, this is designed to work with any of them. So it's only one wire. And the only reason there's a wire added is because the 50-pin doesn't allow for power. No, neither of the memory cards have power. There is an option that I could do where we could have an inline with the hard drive, such that you would plug in a jumper, or not the hard drive, the disk drive. So you would plug a connector into the disk drive, and then the power cable would plug into that and extract the power off of that. That's another option we could do, but that's probably going to be another $10 worth of connectors and labor and whatever else. I figured most people that I've talked to or heard on here can solder on a wire, and it's just going to be a wire to a power connection. So other than that, it's pretty clean.
Fantastic.
That's cool.
So
you've been working on that for a while. It's great.
Well, I've gone through several iterations. I've just never been happy with what I wanted to release, and I've got other things that I'm working on too. But needless to say, with COVID, I didn't get the vacation. I got the double workload. So my job has been very occupying. I'm actually getting ready to see about a month of really low activity for a change. So hopefully gonna have some fun.
Paycheck.
What?
As long as you get double the paycheck, if you got double the work.
I do okay.
That's good. Good to hear.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah. Hey, Jay Newworth, you joined us. How you going?
Yeah, I kind of missed out. I fell asleep.
You're here now.
That's it.
Jay,
what you been doing?
Did you have something to show?
Well, I'm basically working on trying to reproduce the badges on the bottom of the case, and I've come up with something pretty close. But I thought, for anybody who might have a case where all the decals are gone, so I'm repainting my cases just like Patrick's doing his, and I'm having pretty good success with just spray paint and cans of spray paint, and I've got 3 cases done and they turned out really well. So that's what I'm doing.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've seen these work, and it's actually came out really, really nice. So he's got some tricks that I didn't think of.
No tricks. Basically, just 3 coats of the paint. Let them dry in between, and it looks good.
He does them all indoors. That's the thing, Patrick. Don't you live in an apartment, Jay? Where do you paint these things?
I have an apartment, yeah, but I have an outdoor, loft that I can go out and paint in.
Okay.
You ought to see the whole wall, all the walls and everything in there's got paint spray on it now. So,
as it should be.
There goes your security check.
Yours came out really well, Patrick. I was most impressed with the photos. Yeah.
Definitely.
Sorry, that cut out for me.
Yeah, I was saying yours really looks super from the photos you've sent me of your Model 3 or 4.
What was it, gray or white?
They were the grey.
That's the Model 3.
Model 3.
Yeah, Model 3. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a much harder case to paint, and I think Patrick did an extremely good job. I'm looking forward to seeing his video when he does it.
Everybody wants a video.
No, it turned out really nice. It really did. That's not the same plastic as the Model 4. The Model 4, it didn't seem to be like a hard project to do. So I sandpapered it down, magic eraser, cleaned it real clean, and then I painted it, and it just turned out really well. I was shocked. I may still try a paint sprayer though, a professional paint sprayer, to see if it layers down a little bit better.
I don't know if your neighbors will like you if you start running a compressor in the apartment.
Well, I've run my compressor when I've done other things, so I don't think they'll mind. I've even got a table saw out there that I use.
Really, it should come down to whoever bought the first apartment in the condo.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, the question I was having about the decals for underneath the computer, Jay. So if people were ordering them, do they actually tell you what their serial number is, and then you get it produced and sent back to them? So
that wouldn't be cost effective, because where I get them from, you have to buy 10 at a time. So I can't I might just leave it blank and let the guy fill in a serial number. Maybe you can put it in on a piece of paper or something, or it's the only thing it's a quagmire here is the serial number. You can't.
Because I do a bit with classic cars, and what we're noticing on some of these old Japanese cars, which are pushing 50 or more years old, the build plates on them are in really poor condition, and companies have come up to reproduce the build, or VIN plates we call them here, and you have to prove that you own the car by showing them your original VIN plate, but then they stamp it with the same numbers that you've got, and in your sort of pristine restoration of the car, you don't have a manky 50-year-old build plate with peeling chrome or whatever.
But that's actually easier to do than actually doing the lettering like he's doing on plastic printing, because the lettering on the VIN is embossed, and that's just an embossing machine. It's a hand embosser that costs $200 to buy the machine to do that. That's what I do in business, so that's why I know this part. But his thing is that unless Jay can get 10 jobs at the same time, and the guy's willing to change the number on each of the squares, the only thing I could suggest is maybe, you can find those tiny decals that wouldn't be 100% accurate,
right?
Little letters that you can stick.
Yeah. That's
if you put that down, and you would put, I don't know, a clear coat on top of it, prevent them from peeling, you could, at least have a close reproduction.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Well, like I say, I want to first see if I can get it scaled to the right size for printing, and then the company that I deal with, I'll see if they can send me a sample. And it's not a guarantee, but hey, Ian, I just wanted to ask you real quickly, where'd you get that T-shirt from?
This one?
Yeah, that's cool looking.
You were there, weren't you? At Chillicothe? Did you come to Chillicothe?
Oh yeah. Was that from there?
Yeah, that's the Chillicothe 2017 Tandy Assembly shirt.
I don't remember seeing that.
They were there. I have to ask Neil Blanchard if there's any of them left. But yeah, that's what it is. I thought I could take it out for its yearly run.
I'll have to ask Neil, because I just did some work for him. I just sent him a video board, a lowercase, and a motherboard and a cable, and he's ecstatic. He just posted something on Facebook, so he's got his machine running now.
Are you helping? Jay was on the call on the Zoom when we all voted that he was going to buy the huge extruders and start figuring out cases.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'd still like to see that. I would like to see. And I saw your post about the Meanwhile power supply. I got it in. It's extremely small, so it looks like it's going to be an easy job to put into a Model 3. But
are you going to put in two? You're going to put in two so you can power the floppy drives?
Well, that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to put in two. So I have to figure out how I'm going to do that. I want to see how I can work it out first.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So Jay, are you helping to convert Neil Blanchard to a Z80 into a Z80 guy?
I guess so. I mean, that's what he's got now. He was in all kinds of problems. He was getting frustrated. Let's put it that way. But now he's got a working motherboard, and I think he's just been thankful because Ian has helped him. I think Paul has helped him.
Yeah, the Coco world is used to like getting them into eBay and having them work.
Yeah,
those Cocos are pretty durable.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump to the next game.
I had one quick question for Pete. Jay, those were the bubble decals, right?
This isn't a bubble decal. This isn't. This
is
a flat metal type, but the bubble ones that I have are the ones that replace the case.
Okay, so it is you. I need a 16B one. Do you happen to have one?
It says 16 on it. It's a Model 16. That's what it says.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't say 16B, but I can get them made. I mean.
Okay. Let me get back in touch with you.
Would you take 10 of them?
You'd probably easily sell 10 of them at Tandy Assembly, Jay. 16B ones, I'm 16B? Sure.
Yeah. I'll look into that.
Yeah, my 16 didn't come with one, but didn't come with a keyboard either.
And I also have 5, 15, and I think 8 megabyte hard drive replacement badges now. So anybody's got hard drives with bad badges, I have them in stock.
Okay.
Jay, I
Thank
can
you.
send you a picture of that 16B label so you can get the spacing right.
Yeah, do that, please, so I can see what it looks like.
Okay, let's share the screen here. So Kyle Watson has a very competitive entry.
Thought he'd be here today.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Called Vicious Vipers in Love. What the in love part is, but oh, I hit the skull.
Uh-oh.
Basically, you're a snake or a viper, and you have to eat these eggs while avoiding.
Is that a
traps.
scorpion?
And
Go
you
for the
grab
keys,
these
Pete.
keys.
Go for the keys.
You've died of hunger. I didn't eat enough eggs.
Wow.
Oh, this is an unforgiving game.
It's
Oh yeah, this is a toughie.
got
When-
good
when did
graphics,
he-
and like I said to Kyle, I played this for a bit. I said to Kyle, easy to learn, hard to master, makes it a definitely what you want in a game. You can't travel very far without eating an egg on this game.
Oh.
This looks like assembly. Is it assembly?
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it looks like it has to be.
Yep. And he actually went to the trouble of making package artwork for it. So
Really? When did
Yep.
he release? When did he release this game?
he hasn't. It's his entry. It'll probably
okay.
released in the new year or after the competition's over. But a lot of
Okay.
work's gone into it.
Wow.
This is worthy of any game, created back in the day. I think.
Oh yeah, this is on that level.
It would be good if you had a hunger indicator.
And what is it going to run on? What's it going to run on?
It does have a hunger indicator, Steve, in that the snake gets shorter as it runs out of energy. So you notice as you consume an egg, it gets longer, and then as you travel around, it gets shorter. So
Oh yeah, I see that.
yeah.
Is it Model 3, 4 only? I'm wondering if it's syncing with the clock. It looks pretty smooth.
Not sure.
Well, Pete, what are you running this on? An emulator?
This is in TRS-80 GP, yeah.
Okay.
So I like all of the polish. Like he has the splash screen, then he has this screen, with the nice graphics, the sound. Really very well done.
I'm going to have to send him an email and let him know it looks nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks great.
It would have been good to have him here because we could have actually show us it playing for more than 10 seconds before dying of hunger. I did give it a good shot, and I managed to get around a minute of play before I ran into something or ran out of hunger. But no, that's a good one. It's a nice one, Kyle. Yep.
Let's see. We have one more that I'm going to present. This is from Zontan, and it's a Space Invaders clone. I guess apparently he wrote this a long time ago, but never shared it with the community or anything. We can get the emulator set up here. Model 1.
Should have called it Space Invaders 2020.
It's not very. I mean, it's good, but it's not forgiving. It hasn't got the the protectors that Space Invaders
right
normally has. But this is pretty good. Is it in assembly?
It's a CM. It's a cast file, so probably.
Well, yeah, there's no way you could have a program running in BASIC that would be moving the images on the screen like that.
True.
If you used print using, you could, but it would probably be jerkier, whereas this is running a lot more smoothly. So I think it's assembly.
Yeah, it seems pretty playable.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
You
good.
got the mothership. You can get it.
Ooh.
Oh,
hey, we're close.
Close. No cigar.
Come on. I did notice if you get killed, that the enemy. No, I got away with that.
So the plan with these, I don't know how we're going to do it, Dusty, but hopefully on the page on your website is put links to where people can possibly download them if the authors agree.
I think collision detection on the UFO at the top is not implemented.
And it doesn't seem like the bottom is either.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a work in progress. Let's call it that.
That's cool.
Yeah, and all of the aliens are the same.
And they don't animate.
And they do not animate. That is correct.
Well, that takes up processor cycles, doesn't it?
Well, they animate when they die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got great animation when you kill one, right? They dissolve.
There's no sound with this?
No sound.
Oh,
It's
definitely.
like
You definitely
the
hit that.
The shot doesn't make it to the top of the screen. Well, it's a playable version of Space Invaders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you also notice that they don't shift all the way over to the left and right after you delete a column of them?
Yeah, sometimes they just come right down. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, if you like shot off the first two columns, there still seems to be a similar stopping point. It doesn't go all the way to the edge like Space Invaders used to. See how it dropped there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you got to start somewhere.
That's right.
Cool. Well, thank you, Zontan, that you have a contender.
Yeah, what I was hoping to do, Mav, was to publish in TRS-8-bit a link because it's a PDF file. I can put a link into the YouTube video or wherever and do it that way. As long as everybody's happy with that.
Yeah, yeah. We'll have to workshop that one after we've chosen the winners.
And you've also got the edition, the second win, haven't you? The double, because we're running the two comps.
Yeah.
The one for the most usable, unique, or whatever for over the last year.
Yeah, so we've got things like TRS-80 and TRS-GP, the latest version, things like that to look at. So if anyone has any other suggestions for commercial product releases for the TRS-80 in this or since December last year, then let us know.
I mean, TRS-8GP sort of taken over, I think, as everybody's emulator, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep, it has.
And now we come to the open discussion part of the show. I actually have a question for Quentin. Quentin, in the trove of manuals that you obtained, there was one called a Model 2 troubleshooting manual.
Oh, could be. I mean, I got 100 some odd manuals in that stash. So did you take a look at the pictures of the screens or the pictures of the covers of all the?
Yeah, I saw the cover of that and I was in shock
okay.
when I saw it because I've never seen that before.
Oh, okay. And that's only the printed service manuals. I have a huge stack of all sorts of Radio Shack corporate internal documents too, which I haven't gone through. It's a giant mound.
Okay.
But okay, so on your service manual, you need that one?
The troubleshooting manual. So if you could prioritize that one. That would be nice.
Okay.
We're all curious to see what it looks like. I mean, I worked at Radio Shack and I've never seen one.
Did anyone let's see. I suppose I could post the link of all those manual collections in the chat so people can look at the list. I'll see if I can dig that up.
Presume if you pick up just the thickest book you can find, it'll be that one.
I'm pretty sure I bought a copy of the troubleshooting manual for the Model 2 20-something years ago from Computer News 80. They managed to acquire a copy. It's in one of my piles of manuals to be sorted.
I'm pretty sure you sold it to me, Mav.
Oh, well, that would explain it as well. Yeah, there's not many of them around, that's for sure.
It's not really that much to look at. Really, it's a combination. There's just a couple of pages, I think, at the beginning that's different information, but it's got badly photostated copies of the schematics and things like that there. But really, it's just a combination of that and part of the technical reference manual.
Yeah,
I was thinking that it might be. I was thinking it might be just something that they put together at the introduction of the machine for the service center, so they would have something.
And printed it on a cheap Xerox machine, because that's what it looked
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, we did that. I mean, we did that for new products sometimes. I mean, modern. Well, you know, I mean, after I got there, if you needed to get something out there fast, then yeah, we did what we did.
I'm pretty sure it looked like it was on a cheap Xerox machine, but had an official label stuck to the top of it with a service center catalog number.
Yeah, I saw the picture of it, and it was just, I mean, that's kind of what it looked like to me, like it might have just been a preliminary. Our service centers, I mean, we didn't have any of those to send out, and I had never seen one. So I was like amazed to see it. Never even heard of it, you know.
We're turning up a lot of stuff lately.
Yeah, I mean, it's great, you know.
Strange, isn't it?
Wow, we did that? Cool.
Who'd have think Radio Shack would do stuff and not tell other departments about it?
Well, I think what it was just really early, and it was superseded, and you know, it was something like the Tech Reference Manual.
Yeah.
And because that's what the shops had as a service manual.
Mm.
I was thinking maybe it was just a lightweight reference manual, tech reference manual.
Yep. Hey, David Cooper, what are you working on? Hello, Dave.
You mean right now?
Yeah, I mean, how's that Model 4D of yours going?
That 4D is working fine. I'm just trying to get those old hard drive controllers to work. I got to look up those timing things to check that.
Yeah, for people who don't realize that, Dave owns that 4D number 3 off the production line.
That's actually the one that's right there is number 3.
Yeah, there it
Wow.
is. So we're trying to locate number 1 and 2, but you know, I suppose maybe Ed Juge has got number 1, and probably the advertising department at the former Radio Shack has number 2. So yeah, that's number 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
My guess is the landfills have numbered 1 and 2.
That would be my guess. I had the number 3 Model 1 in my office for quite a number of years.
Wow.
Cool.
Geez, bet you wish I had it now.
Yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, would that have ended up in that big Tandy Tower auction a couple of years back? Do you know the one I'm talking about, Pete?
Mm-hmm.
Probably it ended up in the landfill when they closed technical support.
Okay,
All
right.
That was a few months after Val and I left, and my understanding is they just dumped everything.
Yeah.
I'm still disappointed in that auction. I really wanted that Charles Tandy bus.
I thought you got that, Pete.
No, I didn't get it.
Oh man, I remember that bust.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, I was down there by the skating rink.
Yep.
He overlooked the skating rink.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
very magisterially, and he was quite a fixture. Saw it every day.
Somebody has it in their collection.
One day someone's going to come along and put it on the table at Tandy Assembly, and it's not going to last very long.
I'm going to grab it and run. St. Tandy.
It looks pretty heavy, Pete. You may not be running pretty fast.
I'll get my son.
There you go.
There you go.
So, Pete, are you going to be taking that trip down to Florida to try to grab that stuff?
I do have a trip planned to Florida for next weekend. For those that don't know, there's a fellow down there who has a trove of Radio Shack technical documentation, service manuals, notes and jumpers, all the tech bulletins that he wants to make sure is preserved and archived for the community. He doesn't want it to be sold. He wants it to go to a good cause. So next weekend, I'm driving down to Florida and driving back in the same weekend.
So when are you going to start archiving it?
Get back.
When can we see it, Pete?
You put the scanner in the car, and Alex can start archiving it on the way back to New York.
On the way, yeah. Let's don't delay this.
Where do you live that you're driving to Florida from?
New York.
Oh, it's a brutal drive.
So
I went and picked up a VAX 750 in Calgary one weekend, and that was long enough from Seattle for a round trip on a weekend.
I got my daughter going with me. She's of driving age, so we're going to swap driving, and we're going to stay overnight once we get down there and then come back. So
it's still a brutal drive,
it's just
though.
I-95 all the way south, isn't it? It's pretty
much, yeah. I mean, I did a trip to Alabama last 5 years ago, which is almost the same distance, with my son who couldn't drive, and I did it in the weekend all by myself. So this should be a piece of cake, right?
It's brutal, though. I mean, I used to commute from
What
college.
about 12 or 14?
Is this the first rescue trip your daughter's gone on with you?
Yes, it is. So.
You want last rites?
What's that?
You want last rites?
Last.
Wow, there are a bunch of optimists here, Pete. Good luck on your trip. Get some manuals back for us.
Thank
you. Did you draw the short straw, Pete?
I mean, there's not a lot that we haven't already archived, technical documentation wise. I'm assuming there are going to be a few treasures in there that we don't have yet, but I'm sure the
I
majority.
think the national parks microfiche are going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the fish were really well cross-referenced to manufacturing numbers and had additional information. I mean, a lot of that's just going to be parts like resistors and stuff, but some of it's going to be really useful for ROMs and PALs and stuff like that. So I think he's got that. He's got a viewer. So I think that's going to be pretty cool.
I'll have to figure out how to scan that or read it and digitize it.
I was talking to Ira about it. I mean, I have a scanner that I can do it on.
That'll scan a microfiche.
Yeah. I can scan several at a time and then put them together however you want.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see what we get.
So, whatever you guys want. If I can help you, let me know.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
Just take a face mask and wash your hands frequently, Pete. Yeah.
Well, I checked all the states on the route. There are no restrictions on any of the states. So we'll
that was smart.
Yeah, but you're going to Florida. Yeah, remember it's Florida you're going to. It's not the most COVID safe state in the states, is it?
And it's a long trip through Florida. You said it was near Lakeland or something.
Lakeland, right near town.
Yeah, that's like 3 or 4 or 5 hours just to get from the top of the state down.
Wasn't the group also looking for the Model 4 technical documents as well, the service manuals, etc.?
Well, a couple of us do have that. It's just getting it scanning it.
I think I won one on auction yesterday, actually.
That's not archiving he's supposed to do.
What's
See,
that?
the problem I have with that manual is that I'm a collector as well, and the only way to properly scan it is to kind of unbind it, right?
Guillotine it.
It's a dilemma for me, but I want to come up with a way. I'm asking people if there's anything in particular in there that they want. I'll hand scan it using this new scanner app that I've been scanning a bunch of the tabloid bulletins.
I haven't. I think I might have some for you, Pete, that'll do that. I'll get with you offline.
Okay.
It's some software that's specifically for scanning pages out of books in the books, and it deskews them, and it fixes all the parallax problems that you have and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a library that's near us down here that are for tech books like that, and they have that software. It's got a special lens where you just open the page, even though it's recurve, it flattens it back down, keeping the whole shape of the lettering and everything. So it's a non-destructive scanning device.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be good.
Some of it is just in software. I mean, there's several ways to do it. I looked into it a few years ago for some of my books. Is how I came to know about it.
Previously, collectors like myself would have to buy two of them and then choose the less good one and destroy that in order to scan it. So that got pretty tiring.
Probably a good chance that this guy in Florida has one. So if I get a dupe, then I'll definitely have no problem unbinding it.
I was going to say it might be a good idea to have a list of all the documents. There's, like we ran across this motherboard for the Model 3 that was kind of undocumented. There's probably a set of service manuals or, errata or something. Do we have a list of all the stuff that we don't have? I guess is an interesting way of putting it.
That would mean knowing everything that was available that we don't have.
Well, maybe the fish helps you out with that.
The fish will help you there because all the service manuals were listed in it.
Yep.
You never know, Pete. You might find the missing copies of 80 US. There seems to be there's some of those missing, isn't there?
I'm not sure. Are there?
I don't think anything's missing.
And I know Patrick's interested in the Model 3 bus diagnostic hardware.
Yes, please.
I remember you, Patrick.
I'll rent it.
Yeah, it looks like a toaster. It's built in a color computer toaster case.
Really?
Yeah. All the shops had them, and I mean they weren't used very often. Yeah, it was for testing the Model 3 bus.
Oh, interesting. So you ran some software as well on the Model 3?
Yeah. So hopefully he's got that too.
Okay. He said he has a couple foot lockers of discs. So
yeah,
we shall see.
But a bunch of those are going to be MS-DOS as well.
Yes.
It's always going to be Xenix because I mean basically he was an independent serviceman, and when we supported them, and so it was very expensive, but they got everything the shops got. He paid an annual fee and an NDA, signed an NDA, and we fed him everything. So he got everything that a service center would have gotten. If you kept all of it, he's got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there could be.
He's about to breach the NDA.
Yeah.
Well, buddy, I've breached mine a few times by now too. So with you guys, so
we won't tell you. We'll keep it quiet. Don't worry.
I just about finished scanning the years of 79 to 84 of the UK magazine called Personal Computer World. It was a joint effort, really. I'm under strict instructions now. We've got to start clearing shelves. So the easiest way to do it was, as I say, just to dislodge the spine of the magazines, and then they can scan quite easily. So hopefully within the next, I don't know, perhaps just after Christmas, if I get another lockdown, I should be able to put it on availability for downloads. We'll have to have a look at that. But in the UK, Tandy seemed to die out the late 84. So that's the reason I've stopped at 84 really. But hopefully, as I say, that they seem to come out quite well, so that might be interesting. But of course, it's not just Tandy stuff. It's all PCs at that, obviously from the title. Yeah,
it's a good magazine, PCW.
Yeah, it was one of the best about at the time, Steve, wasn't it? And while I'm on, also, can I ask, is anybody apart from in the UK got a copy of NuDOS 80 version 2 on a 5 1/4? I've had one since the day, thinking it was absolutely 100% perfect. And when I actually loaded, it reads fine, but it seems some of the bits are missing, like there is a format command and things like that. So I don't know what's happened there, but it's a 40-odd-year-old disc. If anybody could let me have one, please let me know cost of postage, etc., and I'll refund you.
So that's just for Model 3?
Sorry, no, it's for a Model 1, please. NuDOS, mine goes up to ZAP 90, but I say there's the actual format commands missing, which is most peculiar.
I can make you anything you want and get it to you, Dusty.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much. Yeah, that'd be super. As I say, if you email me, I'll send you my address. And as I say, let me know postage and I'll refund it. While I'm on, I'm not hogging the system, am I?
No.
Just a bit of fun, really. I'm still looking at these Aculab floppy tapes, the UK equivalent of the American Exatron. And I got the brilliant idea of hacking apart some 8-track and replacing the little pads, like you guys do on your cassettes. Anyway, so I did that. I spent ages cutting them to the right side and sticking them on. Anyway, still no good. So I thought, oh, sod this. There's a program on the UK telly called Repair Shop. And the idea is you send off grandma's old vase that you cracked 20 years ago. They repair it for you and they make a bit of a program. So I designed a nice little letter to the BBC asking them, do you think you could help me extract information from a 2mm cassette, which is digitally written? Anyway, I haven't had a reply from them as yet, but hope for
Dusty, is the problem the media or the drive?
I think, Paul, it's the media. The drive do seem to work, but I just can't get them to read. And there's two sorts. There's a blue wheeled one and a black wheeled one. And they were all straight from the States, from Exatron. The blue wheeled ones, the take-up wheel, have a spring-loaded pad. The black ones haven't, but the black one tape seems to be much better life lasting than the blue ones. I don't know why, but of course they were never very good in the day, and of course this is 40-odd years on now, isn't it?
The reason I was asked, I actually have a Exatron and some media. I haven't touched them, and I really don't have a need for it. So if it's like you can grab pads or something out of the media I have or whatever, maybe that might help you. Let me go. Yeah. I'm going to go grab it off the shelf and I'll be right back.
Oh, lovely. Thank you, Paul. Yeah.
Dusty, what version of NuDOS?
2.0.
NuDOS 82, version 2, NuDOS 82, yeah. I was up to ZAP 90, but I'm not really worried. I just need a full copy.
Okay, I'll go through. I've got a few, so.
Florence, sounds like another challenge for you, too.
Yeah, totally, exactly. Could be a whole tool.
I got an original disc right here.
Ooh.
Wow, that's an original.
You're very lucky, Quentin. I've got one, but there's bits missing off it.
I can get you to ZAP 82.
Yeah, I don't know how many zaps I'm up to on it. Well, this is my This is my original, which doesn't have zaps, but I have working ones that have zaps.
And being your original, you know that you haven't done any patches to the original, as people should never do.
Yeah, I don't think I did on my original one. I haven't checked
So many times I buy, or acquire systems from people, and their original discs have clearly had patches done to them, and I'm like, why? The first page of the manual says back up this disc and only use it for creating working copies. Don't modify the original.
Well, later versions they did ship.
Who does that?
I was just saying, service centers were famous for that.
Okay, who else has also new DOS-80 discs just laying within arm's reach?
Jesus,
man.
Well, that's because it was the best DOS ever, and I will accept no arguments.
Okay.
Hey, we don't want to go down that one. That was the sort of arguments we had in the day, wasn't it? LDOS versus new DOS.
I never had that argument. I could always successfully argue it.
And we always had the Apple versus TRS-80 arguments. Never models.
Yeah. Talking about Apple, what's all this fuss about the M1 chip we're hearing about in the UK? Are you guys anything to say?
I don't do Apple products.
What is an M1 chip?
It's Apple's new ARM chip. So they've taken basically the chip that they were running in the iPads, beefed it up to unbelievable proportions, and it's outperforming a lot of the Intel stuff at the moment. So a lot of the specs that they're doing are very, very impressive. But obviously, it's impressive running macOS. We'll have to wait and see if it's that impressive when it runs Windows natively. But they've got it now running Windows using a hacked version of QM that goes directly to the chip rather than running it virtually. So it looks really interesting.
It's their official divorce from Intel.
As long as it's not collecting my personal data, I don't really care that much about new technology.
Let me know when TRS-80 GP runs on the M1.
And Dusty?
We did compile it, and we had to disable the MMX extensions, so it might run, but can't test it.
Do either you or George have your M1 system on order? Or?
No.
Away, foul temptress.
All right. So, unless anyone else has anything they want to share with the community.
Well, I wanted to take a little poll. I wanted to know, out of this group, how many people still have a cat weasel, how many people have a cryoflux, and how many people have a grease weasel?
I have all three.
All three.
I'll have something.
So actually, there's a okay. So of the cat weasels, I was curious who folks voiced up on the cat weasel.
I've got.
I
use the cat weasel all the time. I have 2 of them.
Yep, I do too.
I think I've got a cryoflux that I've used with some 8-meg stuff.
So who of the group has grease weasel?
I have one too.
Oh, so actually there's well, of course, Ira, I know you do.
Well, that's because you made me get one. I also have a SuperCard Pro.
Yep, got one of those.
Okay, so hardware
Quentin, you need to support all of them, Quentin.
I'm working on it.
Quentin's done some amazing stuff on the cat weasel. He's looked at Tim's stuff, and there's some format issues that I come up with a lot when reading other people's discs. Let's say there's a double density disk, model 3, 18, 18, 18, 18, then there's a 17, and then it keeps going on 18s. And Quentin's cracked that one. So, he's gonna move this into other more commonly accessible hardware, and that'll be just great.
Well, I have both the cryoflux, and I have now a grease weasel too. So I plan to make the CW2 BMK stuff run on all 3 of them eventually. But yeah, that particular bug that dropped a sector occasionally while reading with the cat weasel, that was a particularly nasty bug in Tim Mann's work. I actually thought it was a bug in the cat weasel, but it turned out to just be a bug in the source code.
But you tracked it down and fixed it, huh?
Yeah. Well, I have a fix for it. I'm not sure if it's going to be the fix for it, but it does solve the problem.
You want to say what it was?
Sure. What the code currently does is when it gets the disk spinning and it looks for the index hole, and then when it sees the index hole, it issues an unconditional read. The problem is that between seeing the index hole and starting the read with modern OSs, that includes MS-DOS, you can take interrupts and task switches in between there, which can delay the start of the read. And this delay can cause random errors to show up, or if it's just right, it jumps completely over a sector, like Ira saw and I was able to do. And it happens both on MS-DOS and Linux regularly. So the fix, one of the fix I'm currently investigating and have implemented, just essentially uses the cat weasel feature of doing what's called an index read, and just having the cat weasel go ahead when it sees the index hole, starts the read on the index hole. Now, I'm trying to figure out why Tim went out of the way to go to the unconditional read instead of an indexed read. And I've sent him an email asking him if he can remember why. So I'm experimenting to see, it's like, I don't want to be one of those kind of like a rock in a hard place. I don't want to solve one bug and end up creating another. Now, one of the things it does with the index read is that when the disk goes around, it will overread. It will create a wraparound, which Tim's software correctly backs out the overlap. And so I'm wondering if at some point he couldn't deal with the overlap, so he implemented his own unconditional read where he checked the index holes manually for the start and end. And I've sent mail to the cat weasel.
Dan Schoenfeld.
Yeah, that guy. To ask him about the overlap that occurs while he's doing an index-to-index read. I suspect that's a feature, because it's better to read too much than too little. And catching the index hole just right, you're going to have some bits missing or extra almost always just by a little bit. And so I think he overshot a little bit just to make sure he wouldn't miss any bits. Gens. With the cat.
And that reminds me a lot of like when I was working on the emulation hardware side of the emulation for the MX S board. I had all kinds of those types of problems where I would get like a disk image that would usually work, but then not always. It took a lot of that kind of really low level looking at what is it doing here and noticing, oh, occasionally it's looking for an index hole to pass or something like that. But not always. There was a lot of those types of things where I'd get it mostly working, and then I spent, I don't know, probably 6 hours maybe getting the original thing working, and then I probably spent 80 hours dealing with all those little tiny things. So
yeah, I've messed with hardware pretty much my entire career, and it's all those little details like that the real world isn't perfect.
By the way, you reminded me in this next episode of the podcast that's coming out, I interviewed Tim Mann.
Oh,
so, yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah, that's kind of a coup. He wasn't always real interested in interviews, right?
He's a very quiet, reserved man. Yes. So, but I got a good 40 minutes out of him. So we'll see.
Oh.
Any
right.
T&D Assembly 2021 news or plans?
It's happening. That much I can tell you.
Great.
It's definitely on. Unless
today it is.
I mean, if restrictions are still happening next fall, nobody's
saying they got vaccines. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
There you go.
Okay. We're going to end out the show with another gaming competition. So those of you who are not interested, feel free to drop off. But those of you that want to stay and watch or participate.
See you guys.
So long.
Yeah.
Take care, Ken. Val.
Okay. Look forward to seeing you guys again.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
The game this time is Sea Dragon. Okay, so I am going to share.
I'm gonna hop. Thanks, everybody.
Okay,
Bye,
Ira.
Ira.
So long, Ira.
Yeah, bye, Ira.
I'm going to post in the chat here a link.
I was going to mention, is anybody interested in where I'm at with that VGA adapter that I've been working on for the Model 3 and Model 4?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, give us
Yes,
an update.
absolutely. Like to hear an update.
Yes, please.
Well, it's working. I posted some things on the Discord chat, so if you've seen that in the general, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm working right now figuring out how to manage flipping back and forth between 80 column mode and 64 column mode. So it works right now. It flips back and forth okay, and I've got the spacing and everything looking right. But there's a little bit of an issue in that the 80 column mode uses more memory. So when you flip back to 64 column mode, you've got this garbage from the 80 column mode stuck around the edges. So I've got to deal with how to get rid of that. But after that, that's the last kind of major messy looking thing. And then I probably am just going to start working on a daughter board that I'll make available for folks. So I'm getting really close to being pretty much done with it. So
Yeah, that's a really cool project.
thanks.
Yeah, that'll be nice to see. And then I won't have to run my Rube Goldberg contraption back here.
Yeah, that was pretty
I
cool.
have the composite board going to a video scaler, going to a VGA monitor. But I can get VGA on the Tandy 6000. So.
Yeah, I don't have any reason to believe that it wouldn't work for other stuff. I've been looking at the schematics for non-Model 3 and non-Model 4. It looks like it probably will work for the others. There may be something I don't know about the way that those produce the video signal, but we'll just have to see.
Cool. All right. Who's good at Sea Dragon? Who wants to school us and show us how it's done? So I posted in the chat a link to Pete's JavaScript emulator. You can play Sea Dragon right there in the on the browser. I also have the CMD file, which you can run in an emulator. I'm going to go first. I'm not necessarily very good at the game, but
Wait, is this a competition game?
this is a competition game. No, this is competition for us. Who can get the highest score?
Oh, okay.
Playtime.
Yep. Ah.
What are those things supposed to be?
Mines.
Okay.
There's a version for this for the Coco.
From the same author from Wayne Westmoreland.
I think so. They had this on the Coco Talk as one of their games of the week a while back, and I was like trying to figure out how to play it, and I was like, why does this feel weird? And I realized it was also, a Z80 game.
All right, 4720.
4720.
Let's try to beat it.
All right. Let's see.
It's easier to play on a real computer than on the emulator, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I think so. I got it up. I can try. Hang on.
All righty.
Share screen.
3,160. Boo.
You full screen. Wait, let me do this. Alt. There we go. Enter. Can you see it?
Yep.
Yes.
I'm gonna. It's. Oh, nope. Why did it not go? There we go. Oh, well, that was an auspicious start. This is harder on. All right.
Are you putting on a Model 4 emulator here? It's fast.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe I brought it up
Are you
in the wrong. Is it supposed
Are
to
you
be
in turbo mode? Because it's like zooming twice the speed.
Yeah, maybe I did something wrong here. Let me see.
There's an expert or novice mode.
Yeah, I picked novice when I played.
All right. Well, what did that get me to? Did anyone see the score?
You don't want to
About
know.
40.
You don't want to know.
All
We'll
right.
scratch that one because.
Yeah, let me see.
Yeah.
Oh, I did Model 3. Should I do Model 1? Let's try it now. Hang on. Enter. All right, here we go. Oh, 0. I should do 0. I probably hit expert. That's probably what I did wrong. Oh, this is bad.
Remember, you can press the back arrow to slow yourself down.
Those stingrays.
What's that?
Is that a manta ray that floats up from the bottom with the tail?
No, they're mines.
Okay.
It's not Steve Irwin. You're a submarine.
But I was trying to figure out what they were. I thought, what are those, scorpions or?
Oh,
Like in Gilligan's
yeah.
Island.
Oh no, I got one more.
You only get one life in the Steve Irwin game.
What about the Jerry Anderson Stingray?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Ah, I think that's it. Nope, I got one more. Did I get an extra life or something? Because I was terrible. Wow. 2390. 2390.
Oh, sorry, Tim.
Was that worse or better? I can't tell.
What was my score? I forgot now.
I can't remember either.
4,700, wasn't it? 4,720?
Let me stop share. Somebody else can go. Somebody else can go.
Anybody else willing to take the challenge?
I've got it set up here.
All right.
Go, Peter.
It looks
Go,
like
Peter.
George is.
Fox is ready to go.
Hey, George.
All right.
All right, I can tell already.
Yeah.
George.
Somebody's been practicing.
Yeah, for about 30 years. Oops, terrible.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah, I think playing this on a proper keyboard would be much easier. Having all my arrows clustered in a little thing, it just makes
No,
it really.
you just have to hold the space bar down when you're playing the game the whole time.
oh, is that what you do?
It doesn't repeat fire.
He's got a hacked version.
Does the submarine have a?
No, it looks legit to me. He's just good. Excellent.
Practice for a week.
Nice.
Oh, how did you get it to shoot up? I forgot about that.
The enter key,
Yeah.
which is a little awkward.
Yes. Wow.
Now you get with these boats on the surface.
Nice.
All right, well, I asked for somebody to school us, and George is schooling us.
Schooling.
I think this is a sign of a misspent youth.
It's been said before.
It's called a spanking, boys. Only on his first life. We'll be here all night.
It gets to a sort of logical conclusion, so we'll get that far.
It's a fantastic game, by the way.
I played that when I was in high school all the time.
After a while, you forget you're dealing with such low resolution graphics. You just enjoy the gameplay.
He's good.
Ooh,
Oh.
This is great.
I think
This is
the low res graphics make it even more fun to play. You know, you get a modern game on a console or something, and they look like movies. They're awesome, but they're not as much fun.
Laser beams. Oh my god.
I don't think I've ever seen this far into the game.
I have
Me
not
either. It's cool.
You get to a boss here.
Oh wow.
Dig through in. The last part of the wall rotates.
Yeah. You just gotta kind of brute force your way through it or finesse it, however you want to do it.
Hey, honestly, how many of you didn't know there was a boss on this game?
I did not.
I've never seen this before. This is cool.
I've been here before, like 30 years ago.
Took you all night to get to it.
You did it.
Oh.
Wow.
I think we can safely say George has schooled us all.
He got more just in bonus points than twice what Pete got.
Is there anyone dumb enough to want to challenge George?
Oh, I bet Peter could do a good job.
Yeah, I can try to do it here if I.
Did it switch to expert mode on you or something?
Oh, I started in expert mode.
Oh, jeez.
All right, Peter, you want to give it a shot?
What was that score? 2 million?
It's 41,000.
It was only 10 times mine.
Hang on, I'm doing the.
I'm dropping off, guys. See you next
All right.
time.
Later.
Take care, Paul.
Oh,
A good one. I gotta drop off too.
All right,
Okay,
Patrick.
later.
Later.
Bye, Patrick.
Gotten stuck in a bunch of menus here on the Mac. Okay. Okay, let's see now. Let's see if it'll let me share here. Start share. Share.
Here we go.
Okay.
Okay, we can see it.
No sound here. I'll try expert. Whoa.
So the cave network isn't really very long. And if you win the boss, you start again.
Yeah, you keep going.
Yeah. So he must have stored the cave profiles, because I was wondering whether it was kind of random, but it looks like it's actually stored data.
It is the same each time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send this Mac Air flying here in a second. Ugh.
Yeah, there's a fairly clever data structure they have for storing the cave terrain.
Is it deltas or what are they doing?
Yeah, it's a sort of a delta format. kind of like Delta and Character. It's but reasonably compact.
Some bits are actually vertical because you only be plus or minus. Some bits actually go straight vertically, which would be quite.
I didn't see my score. I think I got up to 4,000 or something.
Just over 6.
All right, we're going to declare George the winner. Congratulations, George.
Oh, well done, George.
All right, folks, that's going to end it for this time. We'll be back next month.
Just quickly, was there a list of the competition entries? Because I was late to the meeting, missed a few. Do you have a complete list of the names? Oh, soon. It's not out yet.
No, we've still got 2 days to go before entries are cut off. So,
did you get my Star Trek?
1st of December.
Right.
You've still got time to get your entry in.
Well, did you get my entry? Did you get my entry, the Star Trek game?
Yeah, we played that and it crashed, but
all right.
yeah, we
sounds good. It played it, yeah.
That's track 14.
Yeah.
Track 14. Yeah, that's the one. I played it when you sent it to me, and it was working. But we tried to demo it live here, and you know what they say: never record with children, animals, or
live demos.
Live demos. Video games.
I look forward to playing the other games actually when it comes out.
Have you got it on your running on your emulator at the moment? Have you got Trek 14 running at the moment on an emulator that we can switch your
still
screen?
generating the galaxy.
I could run it. Yeah, I could run it.
Bring it up.
How long does it take to generate the galaxy?
Well, quite some time, because the original that it's based on, I used to play that for hours sometimes, and I never really got to the end of that one. And I always used to get demoted because of the way the scoring worked. Let's have a look. Okay. Start new. Source. Go 3. Let's try this. See if it works. I don't know if I can share this. Oh, okay, see if it works. If I share, I don't know if this will work. Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, we got that far.
Yeah, we. Well, I have to wait a few seconds. Right, here we go. Now, it actually gives the galaxy a number, 5044. It's random every time. But if you run it with that number, it will build the same galaxy. It's quite handy for testing. And also, if you want to play the same layout again. So basically, this is what you have. And you can scroll about. So if I go to, if I go to 661, say. So the bits that are void are outside, and the bits with question marks are bits you haven't explored yet. So let's say, so the first thing to do is look for a base where you can refuel, and I can't see any. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to 321. Whoop. Can't type. And after I've found somewhere where I can refuel, there's still no base. All right, okay. Let's try 631.
It's 1973. You can't refuel.
So, okay. So there's a base there at 730, and a couple of Klingons in the same quadrant. So let's go and get them. 730. So there's a number of strategies. The most of the game is played out on this tactical screen here. There's the base on the bottom right, and there's one larger Klingon and one smaller one. And every time I move, they get a move. And they're quite cunning because they will go around obstacles. What I'm going to do is, if you wait for them to get in line, like that, because they will dodge the torpedoes if they're far away. So let's try that. And then I got his buddy.
That's a massive explosion.
Yeah, nice explosion.
Nice effect there.
Yeah.
You got Bones bitching from sickbay, I see.
Yeah. Now, I didn't do a trick here. The trick you can pull if you've actually got a star base in the same quadrant, you can dock with the base and then fire from there, so you can draw energy from the base, which is quite handy. So let's see who else we can get. Let's go and kill those three on 5, 3, 2. Now, you're meant to look out for the M planets as well. So I've got three here. Now, Klingons can recharge from stars if they're weak. Now, this is going to be tough, killing these guys. In fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. And that's it. Now, the Klingons will dodge a torpedo if they can see it in time. If they're really close, they won't get time to dodge. So that's why I try and line them up. But sometimes, got him. Now, didn't dodge that one. And I try and kill the last one with phasers. Now, when they fire at me, they've obviously lost energy. I can scan him and he's only got 2, 5, 6. Now, if I watch him, he's running away. Now, Klingons never retreat totally. He's going to refuel here. That's him refueling, and then he's going to attack me again. So I need to get him before he refuels from the star. Just get him with phasers, say 800. Oh, 800. No, he's still got some energy because he's refueling 5,000. The top line shows you where you are, how much energy you've got, and how many torpedoes, and how much energy on the shields, and the date. You've got to do the whole game before star date 2100, or you get called back. There's 4 planets down here, but we have to refuel now, so I go to 730. So other things you can do are talk to the computer and get like a damage report and your score so far. You can also ask the computer where it last saw bases, and ask the computer where it saw Klingons that haven't destroyed yet. That will only come from what you currently explored, so obviously it won't let you into any secrets. Let's go back to that. Where am I? Anyway, so you keep playing. Sometimes there's as many as 4, 5, 4, 2. Let's go. That might be quite interesting. Now, usually you get killed quite quickly. This planet here with the notch out of it, that's an M planet, and you have to orbit those to get extra points. Attacking me already. Now, I don't want to accidentally damage the planet. If you shoot at an M planet, you get court-martialed. So what I'm going to do, try this. So what you have to do is you explore the galaxy. You have to find planets and kill the Klingons. So what I'm going to do now, and when you finish, you go back to 770. I'm just going to and I dot with this original starbase, and it'll give me my score. So I was fired. I was fired because I think the score from that game was about 3,000. It's different every time. You have to look at the thing because it generates it randomly. But you played Galaxy 504, so it will tell you that. So if you run it again, I would actually get the same galaxy because it's randomly generated by default each time. Yeah, so basically it's based on, I don't know if anyone ever played the game by Lance Mitchell, Starfleet 351, 3.5. I don't know if you played that one. I always found that one of the best of the originals. So I was inspired by that one, but added extra features.
It's a beauty, that's for sure. Yeah. Thanks for that demonstration, because we were struggling with it a bit earlier on. You can have a look on the playback.
Okay, cool.
Probably don't really recommend it.
It got hung up on generating the galaxy. It just sort of hanged at that point. So,
I didn't get. All right. All right. So it does generate the random layout, and you can get as many as 4 Klingons, and that can be quite tough at once. So sometimes you have to run away and come back, and when you do that, actually in the same locations, which is quite cool. Some of the originals didn't. They didn't remember the exact location. There's quite a number of tactics you have to do that you get used to after a while to play the game, because the Klingons can be quite devious. They can go around objects and they can gang up on you. So what you have to do is what I do is try and line them up and pick them off until they get close and kill the ones that are remaining with phasers, because phaser energy diminishes with distance. These are all ideas from some of the original games. What I did is I took a lot of the original games and I looked at the properties of what they did, and I thought, well, let's take the same ideas and try and make it a little bit more real time. So especially with the combat, but try and keep a strategic element.
Yep. Great.
Anyway,
Great.
there you go. I'm glad that if you didn't see it in the earlier in the program.
Thanks. Okay, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time. Okay.
All right.
Take care. Bye bye.
Take care. Thank you.
See ya.